Hey guys, Dr. Nathan Warren here. I just wanted to take a minute and go over something that I find is a question, at least once or twice a day in our clinic, and that's, how can I sleep better? What are some options? What are some supplements? What are some things that I can do at home to actually increase sleep? Because bottom line is this, we have a major issue with sleep in our society, whether it's dealing with our kids, to dealing with adults or older adults. Again, across the board, as Americans, we're just not sleeping the way that we're supposed to. And so this is a big deal because if you're not sleeping, then you're not healing, right? And that's not an opinion, it's a fact. When you are actually asleep at night, that is one of the most important times for your immune system to do things like actually heal and fight things like infection, do things like clear out certain types of cancer cells. And again, it's a major area of healing is during the night when you're sleeping. And so if we're not getting into good quality sleep, again, there's no way over time that our body is going to heal appropriately. Now, when it comes to sleep, it can vary depending on people. So, you can get anywhere from like 6 to 8, maybe 9 hours of sleep. Anything past that, we know can be actually detrimental to health. Anything under that can also be detrimental to health. So usually I give a window, between 6 and 9 hours. Yes, there's some of those outliers. Like my dad would always say, I think he says he does better on, 4.5 or 5 hours, and he does great. And that's how his grandmother and, that lived to be 100 years old, was as well. And so maybe there's some truth to that too. And there's some outliers like that, but for the most part, 6 to 9 hours is kind of what we're looking at as far as the time that we want. And then it's really about the quality during that time, because if during that time you're never getting into deep sleep or you're not having enough to get into deep sleep, again, it can drastically affect your recovery. And really health in a nutshell is how quickly can you go from damage in the body to recovery. That's what health is, right? Because on a daily basis, you're going to get at some level, at a cellular level, you're going to have some damage to the body. But how quickly can you bounce back? How quickly can you recover is what really determines how healthy you are, right? So it's really that rate of damage and recovery that determines your health. Now, that being said, what are some steps that you can take? Some people actually like to quantify their sleep. Now, I wouldn't recommend utilizing something like everybody's got the Apple Watches and those type of things. Like, here's the bottom line, guys. We know that when you're actually wearing electronic devices, specifically like an Apple Watch, and it's tracking, certain types of, with apps trying to track some types of sleep, guys, it can really affect your deep sleep in general because you have a direct area of electromagnetic field there, EMF, which is going to be damaging your mitochondria and actually down-regulating your melatonin and up-regulating your cortisol. So we don't want to do anything like that. If you like to test, you could get something like an Oura Ring. Oura Ring is a fantastic company that you can actually put on airplane mode, and it still collects some amazing data and tracks how long you're getting into deep sleep, what does your recovery look like, as well as your heart rate variability and seeing the balance between your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So that's one way to test. Now let's dive into some of the nitty gritty here. Let's talk about what are some things that you guys can do even tonight, or starting tomorrow as far as improving your sleep. And some of these things are actually even more important than actually just getting good sleep. It's good for cellular health as well. So I'm going to start with one that we've done for years, and that's dealing with magnesium, right? So something like a calm magnesium is a fantastic one that you can take before bed. If you're just starting, 1 teaspoon is a great place to start, and you can work your way up to 2 teaspoons about 20 to 30 minutes before you go to bed. Now, magnesium is a fantastic, not only is it actually getting rid of deficiency, which is something that we have to make sure that we understand. When you're taking magnesium, you're not just adding more to the body, you're actually getting rid of deficiency. Because magnesium is so depleted in our soil and in our foods, we know that, again, we need to make sure that we're making up for this. Guys, magnesium is involved in every single cellular process in the body. So that means for your cells to function properly and appropriately, we have to have proper amounts of magnesium. magnesium. Now, you heard me talk earlier about, just wearing something like an Apple Watch, having your cell phone in the room, something like Wi-Fi can affect your exposure to certain types of radiation called EMF. Well, guess what? Magnesium is actually a great way to down-regulate some of the damage, some of the cellular damage that EMF can actually do in your lifestyle. So this is a good one that we give to our kids. There's even a Calm Kids that you can do, but some form of magnesium is fantastic. Now, don't go out and just buy the cheapest magnesium that you can find, because if you're doing something like magnesium oxide, guys, magnesium oxide will move the bowels. It's not going to do anything for your cellular health or even for your relaxation or rest. So I would really make sure that you're getting something like, you could do something like a magnesium malate, a magnesium glycinate, magnesium carbonate. Those are all great examples of some great magnesium supplements that are out there. Now there's another magnesium called magnesium threonate that's out there that is fantastic, but it's specifically for the brain, all right? And so it's a great one, especially if you're trying to prevent things like Alzheimer's, dementia, if you already have some cognitive decline, or you're just trying to optimize brain function. Going more towards that one is a fantastic tool that you can utilize. But I really, really love using something like magnesium before bed. Now, if you don't like to drink something like that before bed, you can do a topical magnesium. And my favorite brand to do with that is Ancient Minerals. Ancient Minerals is a fantastic brand. It's actually on our Amazon store. If you go on doctorswarren.com, you can find some of these products that we're talking about. And so here's the bottom line. You can actually use like a lotion, or you can use a rub, or just a magnesium oil in general, and you can put it on different areas of the body. So a couple areas I like to tell my patients or my clients when they're putting magnesium on the body is I like to tell them, put it up here towards the back part of the neck. Most people's suboccipitals are going to be very, very tight, again, throughout the day because of things like forward head posture, looking down at a phone, typing on a computer. Those are things that we see that will actually put tension in the suboccipital muscle. So rubbing some magnesium in that area is fantastic. Doing something like magnesium oil or magnesium lotion and maybe a little bit of lavender essential oil, and you can actually do that right underneath where your ear is. So you go right behind the ear and just below that bone, which is called your mastoid process, and you can actually rub that on there nice and gentle, and you can actually stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest, just by doing some nice easy self-massage while you're utilizing something like a magnesium oil and maybe a lavender essential oil. All right. So another one that Calm makes that I think is great as well, and this isn't one that you have to do all the time, but especially if you're really trying to get some sleep, it's called Calm, and it calms calmful sleep. All right. Now I know that everything is kind of backwards because I'm filming it that way, but that being said, you can at least get the idea. All right, so calmful sleep, this actually not only has magnesium glycinate in it, which is a great form of magnesium, but it's then supported with something like GABA, which is amazing for neurotransmitter production in the brain. So it's really going to have a great calming effect in the brain as well, without like some of the downtime the next day. It's got L-theanine, again, same thing, precursor to neurotransmitters. L-theanine is a fantastic product that you can actually utilize to really calm the body down and really calm the brain down as well. It's a fantastic one to use even with kids. You can see some amazing results, especially with like focus and everything like that. And then it also has a little bit of plant-based melatonin in it as well. That's why I say this would be a good one that you could cycle on and cycle off of. I'm not a big fan of consistently doing melatonin all the time, every single night for the rest of your life. Now, if you're somebody that has something like cancer, melatonin supplementation can be a fantastic thing that can really not only prevent things like bone density loss and really affect the way that your body continues to put calcium in the bone, but it prevents metastasis to the bone as well. Sorry guys, I've had a dry throat over the last couple days. But anyway, that's a great one that you guys can utilize. Here's some other things that I really like as well. You've heard me talk about CBD oil. CBD oil is a great one that you can utilize. Minerals is another fantastic one that you can use. I like using Complete Mineral Complex. reducing inflammation throughout the day, right? So something like WOB enzyme is a great proteolytic enzyme that breaks down inflammation and does a great job. The more you break down inflammation, the more you reduce your cortisol in your body, the better you produce melatonin at night. So reduce your inflammation. Curcumin is a great one as well that does the same thing. Frankincense and boswellia is another one that does that as well. Another one that I like is adaptogens. So we use one called Stress RX that has ashwagandha, rhodiola, and cordyceps. You can get those in separate ones as well, but we like to get them in a synergistic blend. And adaptogens, really all they do is help your hypothalamus to adapt to stress, physical, emotional, chemical. And so that is why I love adaptogens. They're not forcing the body one way or another. They're actually just supporting your body's natural process and supporting the actual processes that are happening with the hypothalamus. All right, so guess what? Hypothalamus is your master hormone control center. So if it's not working appropriately and you're not adapting to the stress appropriately, guess what? Your sleep is going to be very, very poor. So we want to make sure that we're addressing those things as well. Ashlyn said, this is great. Infrared therapy promotes healing as well. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt, here's the thing, Ashlyn, you know better than anybody about, infrared therapy because, again, especially the one we use, Sisu Sauna, right? Amazing shout out there. Sisu Sauna here in Chattanooga is the one we use. Like infrared sauna is an amazing, amazing thing at not only reducing toxicity levels, which in turn is going to affect hormone sensitivity. So that means when you reduce toxicity levels, again, you become more sensitive to binding melatonin to get in the cell to actually utilize it in an appropriate way. So again, yes, infrared therapy can be a great thing that you can add into your lifestyle. Especially one way that I like to do it is, again, if you actually use it, if you got something at home, if you have your own infrared sauna, you can actually use it before bed. That's a fantastic way to do it because, again, it kind of relaxes the body. Or, again, if you're local here in Chattanooga, you can do Sisu Sauna and you can actually go, maybe it's after work, you can schedule a session and just allow the body to detox and relax and feel fantastic, again, and really regulate the uptick of melatonin, the downtick of cortisol. So, again, fantastic suggestion, Ashlyn. I really, really like that one a lot. And then a couple other things that I think are fantastic. I really like something like Tulsi tea, which is another form of holy basil, which is an adaptogen as well. This is a good one, that calms down the body, does a fantastic job of actually reducing, your stress levels throughout the night. And this is a good one that we have recently found. It's by Numi Organic Tea. And it's a gratitude one, all right? And so it's all organic and it has things like licorice root, tulsi, lemon verbena. It's got some turmeric, some chamomile, which is very calming as well. It's got some great things like immune boosting echinacea in it. It's got a little bit of maca, which is another adaptogen that is fantastic especially for doing things like boosting anti-aging hormones like testosterone and growth hormone. And then things like clove as well, which has some really good immune properties to it as well. So those are some good examples, again, that you can do. If you really want to make sure that your magnesium that we talked about at the beginning blends well, guys, utilizing things like magnesium and minerals together, those are a great synergistic blend, as well as things like fat-soluble vitamins. Again, all of those work together. So your vitamins A, D, E, and K, magnesium, calcium, minerals, those are great ones that you can do all at once that have a great synergy to them and will work, again, especially if you're going to do those before bed. That's a fantastic thing that you can do. So hopefully that gave you guys some good ideas, some good tips on some things that you can do to actually improve your sleep, and as always, create a good environment within your area, within your bedroom. So that would be things like making sure that you're really cooling down the bedroom. I like things like, about 68 degrees or below. We actually know, again, that supports your melatonin production. Things like positive thoughts and prayer before bed, I think are a fantastic tool that you can utilize as well. That's going to help kind of prepare the mind to go into that.